Welcome to Afros in the Diaspora. My name is Sarah. I am your host, and together we will vent, rant, laugh, and cry as we discuss the highs and lows of being an immigrant. Stay tuned for stories that will inspire, inform, entertain, and give hope. This is Afros in the Diaspora. Welcome to Afros in the Diaspora. Hello. And today we have Nikita, an amazing actor, an amazing artist. She was also in pre-law. Nikita, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. We worked together on set of The African Family that shot here in Calgary, and Nikita was the main character, played amazingly. So I'm very excited to have you here, very excited to see you. How you doing? How you feeling?
Good. Busy day because, as mentioned, I do acting as well as I'm a full-time project manager in IT. So Monday through Friday, I be working 9 to 5. The proverbial 9 to 5. And then right now, because we are picking up shots for TAF, I've been working over the weekends for the last 3-4 weeks. Probably still have a few more weekends to do because we all work full-time in the day during the week. So I've just been working nonstop.
Oh dang, please. I hope you find time to rest, to sleep, to eat, to be a human being, because that's important,
We're figuring it all out as we go, which is my way of
Yeah.
saying I'm doing a poop job at it.
Oh dang. All right. So we're gonna do some icebreakers as we get into our chat for today. And the first one I have for you is, if you were to have a superpower from the Marvel universe, from the DC universe, from the Witches and Wizards universe, like if you were to have a superpower, what would it be and why?
That's funny because I just asked my friend's niece this the other day, and I said, "Okay, you circle back. Your aunt will tell me your answer." For me, superpower, I thought about this a lot actually, because when I was young, I was like, "Oh, I want to read minds," but I'm like, "No, I don't want a headache like Buffy the Vampire Slayer had." So I was like, "No, I don't want to read minds." I'm like, "Do I want the power to move things?" No, because again, that's a lot with the brain, and I could fry out and get headaches again, and I don't like headaches and migraines. So my dad always said I was an old soul. So I feel like my power would be financial gain. Like I'd have kind of like Sims where you have that cheat code and you can just have unlimited cash. That's what I would want my power to be in real life.
Is that a real thing?
In Sims?
I never played Sims. I
Yeah,
do not know.
like I was an avid player all
Oh,
throughout uni, and then I stopped because adulting sucks, so you don't get a lot of time for yourself.
talk about it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like there's a lot of cheat codes and stuff like that. So you could do a cheat code to gain cash. So you didn't have to do the monotonous, like have your sim go to work and make those penny cashes. Now you could just type in the code and then influx your cash so you can buy like nicer houses and nicer items and stuff like that. So that's what my
Mhm.
superpower would be, like pretty much a cheat code for cash in the real world.
That'll be amazing. I was going to say invisibility, but now I want that.
Call back, Sarah. That's my power. Enjoy your invisibility. I don't know what you want to be a keeping Tom, but that's up to you. But I'm gonna need you to stay off of my power. It's mine.
Because I think either invisibility or you know how, what is it, time travel or space travel, where you can just think about, okay, I want to be in Nikita's house right now, and
Yeah.
boom, I'm there.
I thought about
Because
that too, but it's so unrealistic with the molecular things. Because I always think of Steve Urkel when he's Stefan and he transports himself to Paris to be with Laura on Family Matters. But yeah, I'm an old
uh-huh.
soul, people.
So anyway, so then the second part of that icebreaker would be, if you could commit any crime, any crime, and get away with it, what crime would you commit?
Well, I would take your invisibility cloak and then I would literally go and slap the ish out of those that have done me dirty. Like I would literally just go and just and then I would literally like go into their spaces and find things that are incriminating and drop it off at the
Mhm.
police station so they can all get arrested for their BS.
Dang. I think that would actually be a good use of the invisibility though. To just if I did have that power, I would call myself Karma.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
Because
then
God
I
dragging
would
his
just
feet.
be
God would be dragging his feet, and I'd literally be like, Lord, I am asking for forgiveness ahead of this, right? So,
right.
and I'm not beating them up so hard. No, 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 just enough to knock them out so I can search for things, and then drop and then grab the evidence and drop it.
Just like turn people's lives into chaos. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
For me, I feel like the crime I would commit would be getting money. I will steal as much as possible.
Well, shoot,
My children's
shoot.
children will be good.
Yeah. Well,
My
I have
children's
the cheat
children will be
code.
good.
You are gonna
I
be
mean, you
criminal for cash. I, on the other hand, have my superpower.
but I mean they won't get me though. Like cuz if it was a crime that I would never get caught, then
Facts.
I'll steal Elon Musk's wealth.
You know what? I would, in that case, I would go and steal from all the leaders of the great power countries because they're all siphoning
Mm.
money and laundering it. So you'd find me in every
Oh
country
gosh,
in
yeah.
Africa, all over Europe, like whoo, piggy bank.
Mhm. I feel like because with that invisibility, I can really go and deal with these like African leaders that are turning the continent, into something else. I will go and mess with them. I will make them feel
Not
like they're
even
haunted.
lap him around and then take him to the tribunal of war crimes and be like, here, where's my bounty? I've delivered you all 20 of the people you've been trying to get for the decades of my life. Here you go.
Here you go. I mean, I may, cause anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole because it really is a rabbit hole. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it really is a rabbit hole because you start thinking about how can I make this person's life so miserable that now they want to do good, you know?
Well, they'll probably be in a puddle of their own tears before they even come to that realization that they need to change their ways.
They would rather die, bro. Are you kidding me? These guys would rather die than change.
A leopard
Oh
doesn't
my
change its
lord.
spots.
Does not at all. Okay, so our last icebreaker, if you had to eat one meal every single day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Well, I'm already restricted as it is, so this type of thing is like
Yeah.
my my nutrition plan was like cut by like 75% like years ago. So I'm forced to be
Oh.
healthy. I guess if I was to eat one meal a day, it'd probably be one of my amazing salads that I make.
Not one meal a day, one meal for the rest of
Yeah,
your
that's what I mean.
life.
Like one meal for the rest of my life. It
Oh,
would be like one of my
okay.
salads that I make. Because
Wait, what if there are no restrictions? What if there are no restrictions? It would not affect your health
oh,
or
if I didn't
your
have
body or your
actual
belly
restrictions,
if you did not have any restrictions and you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life.
oh my god, if I could only eat one meal from the rest of her life, we would have to resurrect my grandma on my mother's side, and she would
Uh.
make my favorite like spaghetti with meat sauce, like
Ooh.
with the meatballs. Mm.
Mhm.
My Mina like was slayed in the kitchen, like all the little spices and stuff. You can never get tired. Like
Yeah.
I would hurt so hard because I'd eat so much. Like my little eyes were bigger than my tummy, and I would just get so
Oh,
full off of it. But I didn't care. I would roll around on the ground in pain because I'm so full. But I didn't care. Like
oh.
that would be my cheat meal. Would be my favorite pasta dish that she used to make. Yeah, it is what it is, as the young folks like to say.
As the young folks say, talking like you're 62.
Yo, I'm almost there. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. Come on.
What's that new acronym? There's NGL. Not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie.
I'm like, every time I see, I'm like, what the heck is an NG? I'm like, Nick. I'm like, is this a Negro or is
Niggle it,
that
niggle it,
English? And I'm like,
niggle it.
eventually, every like 10 times, I'm asking myself what it is. I'm like, oh, not gonna lie, but it takes like
Yeah,
every single time I
it,
forget.
it takes a second. I think the one that really got me stuck was IMO.
In my
I'm like,
opinion,
emo what?
You're
Yeah,
like,
in my
emo.
opinion, it took me a few. I think I ended up googling it cuz what in the world is emo? Is that an app? Is that a shorthand for something? Like
That
what
Urban
is that?
Dictionary always comes through clutch.
Comes in very very clutch. So yeah. But we can dive into your story, Nikita. Your story of immigration is actually really unique and interesting. You were born in Canada, but before you clocked 1 year old,
Mhm.
before you got to 12 months, you were taking back home in Africa. So please tell us your story. Tell us your story. I don't want to be the one to say it, you know?
Yeah, so like without going into too much details because of the way my family's structured and our beautifulness. So
Mhm.
essentially, I was born in Quebec in Montreal, and then I was then brought to
Sorry, 1 second, 1 second. For the people that don't know what Montreal is, it's Montreal.
whatever you
Okay.
Anglos. That's the problem with you Nigerians and your colonized selves of the English. Mind you, we were all
We don't know
colonized by
French.
we mind you, we were all colonized by multiple different countries.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
most of the African continent, like most of the African countries, were colonized by Anglos, and then there's us.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Because, like, I mean, we don't speak French, so Montreal is Montreal. Okay, okay. Continue, please.
anyways, before I was rudely interrupted, like, wow, this diaspora. Okay, so then I was taken to Kinshasa, which is the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where I lived with my grandparents. So I stayed with them for a few years and such, and then I was eventually returned to Canada during due to the civil war that was breaking out with the at the time it was President Mobutu, who was known to me as an uncle, to the rest of the world as a tyrant. But I always remind
Mm,
people when they ask, well, didn't you know? Like, how do you feel when you learned about it when you were older? I'm like, my feelings didn't change because that was my uncle. Every
mhm,
tyrant, every corrupt leader of the world, of the nations, has a family that they
yep.
treat well and that, that with admirations and stuff like that, right? So anyways, the
Mhm,
Civil War broke out because they're trying to kick him out of power and press, there's the genocide that was starting. So I got shipped back to Canada, and that's where I cognitively had my first meeting of my mother, right? Because I wouldn't have remembered her from previous. So
mhm.
yeah, and then so I left
Yeah.
Montreal, returned to Montreal, but then I ended up
What was
in GTA.
what was that like? That first meeting, if you want to talk about it.
It was confusing because I just remember like the journey was long. Like first of all, to go from Kinshasa all the way to Canada, right? So yeah, that
Mhm,
was long. I remember it being long, and I kept thinking that we kept going on to other planes. So when we landed in
mhm.
Montreal, I thought we were waiting to go to another plane because that'd just been the journey. And
Right.
so then this woman's waving at me, and I'm like, they're like, "That's your mom," and I'm like, "Huh?" Like, like
Mm,
I don't know, because at the time she would be a voice on the phone, right? In the 80s,
mhm.
90s now, early 90s. And so, anyways, long story short, it took a while to adjust to that. And my favorite part was that she brought a snowsuit, and I've never seen snow before, and I thought it was sand. And I went and stuck after she put
Whoa.
me in the dang thing, I went and stuck my hand in what I thought was sand, and it was snow, and it was so freaking cold. And at that point, I hated my life at the tender age of 7. I was like,
And you were 7, right?
yeah, 7. I was like, I hate my life.
Aw. What was that at that age? The adjusting, the adjustment or
It's kind
yeah,
of
or
it's kind of foggy.
adapting to a new country compared to where you were coming from at that young age
It's
in life in Canada.
it's foggy because you're so young and you're so impersonable, right?
True.
So it's like, keep in mind you're so young that you go to school, but at home it's still the culture upbringing in the essence, right? Like, so
Mhm.
and then it wasn't long before my grandmother came to join us. So it was
Mhm.
like nothing really changed because my person came,
Mhm.
right? But it was just more so the English because I didn't know English, right? So
Mhm.
like my friends and I would try to talk English or broken English or whatever you want to call it during recess because we were at a strict, like it was a strictly French school.
Mhm.
So it was just kind of weird, like when you think about it. But again, that's the thing. There's just that assumption that children are resilient, which we are. And so I'm pretty sure there was it was probably harder than I expected, the transition, because not only am I having to grow accustomed to being with a woman that birthed me, but I didn't know her personally, right? So, and who
Mhm.
I've been raised by is not there at the time. Like she came shortly after. So I think there's a lot of adjustment period in that. But again, because we're meant to be resilient, you either block it out or you don't remember.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So, we're going to talk, we're going to get into the meat of our conversation
The
today.
meat.
And that, the meat, the turkey, the bone, the bone marrow of our conversation today.
I am not a
we're
bone
good.
marrow drinker. Or
You're good. We're going to suck it out.
I've been around people who do it, so
Yeah, yeah, just like that. We're gonna suck out the bone marrow, that delicious,
Mm,
nutritious part of the
tasty.
the meat. And we're gonna talk about dating as an immigrant, dating as someone from DRC. I'm from Nigeria, so we're gonna talk about what that is like. We're gonna talk about all the complexities and what the market out there looks like.
There's no
I'm
market.
single right now. Are you?
There's no market.
What's your status?
Well, the government of Canada recognizes three statuses: married, single, married, or divorced. So I am single.
I'm dead.
No, are you laughing? Like I'm single based on what the Canadian government
But
considers a relationship status.
I mean, okay,
This
okay,
is
I'll
like
leave it
no
at that. I'll
Facebook
leave it
where it's
at
like
that.
it's complicated. No, the government makes it real clear, and I like that clear lines.
So no, it's complicated. No situationships. Nothing. It's like not even a relationship. It's just single or married
Well, remember, single, married, or divorced.
or divorced.
Those are
Yeah,
the three options the
I think
government could.
common law. I think common law is
No, no,
somewhere
no,
in
no, no,
there.
no. Common law is its own entity. It's its own separate policy. Relationship status, they don't often like. Maybe they've updated it recently, but especially when you go do your passport, there is no. I don't think they have. Well, okay, I did the 10 year, so mine's not up for 3 more years. So when I
Hmm.
did it in 2016, there was no common law. Could be very well there. Any of you got your
Hmm.
passport recently? Check it for us. Drop it in the comments.
Check it and let
Um,
us know exactly, exactly.
but
But
yeah.
I remember, yeah, I remember seeing it. I think I was looking at like, I think bringing my mom here on a super visa or like sponsoring my parents on a PR, like permanent
Mm,
residency thing, which is a long ass process that I don't know if
very
I'm, very, very long and very, kind of sort of complex.
strenuous too.
Trying to figure that out, but I'm still in the figuring it out stage. It's not done yet, but we move. But I think I saw something about like a common law, the definition of a common law and what that is,
Oh yeah.
first of all. And then if the common law person can also support your application for that to bring your parents here. So that was, I guess, I don't know if that's a new like addition,
No,
but
that
I
would
did
be for
notice that.
PR wise. I think that would be around for quite some time because they want to make sure that you're financially capable of bringing them over. And
Mm-hmm.
for any reason why you forfeit that financial stability, there's some backup plan, which would be your spouse or common law.
A
And
common
like
law, yeah.
in certain provinces, like depending which ones you're located, their common laws are different because it's
Okay.
provincially led. So, but across nationwide, common law is essentially a significant other that you've lived with, cohabitated with for 2 or more years.
I saw 1 year
Okay, so maybe it's changed now.
for 1 year
But
plus
again, that's what I mean. Like
cohabited.
every province is different, right? So you'd have to look up
Right.
the rules and regulations on what it means to bring that individual into your province or to be
Mm-hmm.
with that person, right? Because they have all these
Yeah.
specific like logistics. Is roommates can live together for 5 years, but hey, they don't want it to be common law because they're not. You know what I mean? Like they have
Yeah.
their chat.
There are layers to it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. But that's not what we're talking about today. All right. Um, but Nikita has stated that she is single according to the laws of the land of Canada. And I will say that I'm also in that boat. I am
Hey,
single according to the laws of the land. So
Buenvenido. I am the
um,
ambassador. I got T-shirts. I got mugs. I got keychains. What do you want? What do you want?
you got merch for the single life. Oh my lord. So like just give us an overview of what dating has been like in your experience in Canada,
Oof, Lord,
in all the different provinces that you've been in. Now
right?
you're, settled in Calgary, but you were in Montreal,
Oh my
aka
god!
Montreal. You
Like
were in you were in the GTA and now you're in
I
Calgary.
was
So
also
what
in
has that been
Winnipeg.
like?
I was in Winnipeg.
You're also in Winnipeg. Oh
Yeah,
dang.
so
I missed
I've
one.
been to quite a few provinces. Um, I guess like let's do some cliff notes here.
Okay.
Dating has been crazy because especially since okay, so I say I've dated United Nations because I've
Oh
dated
word.
Lebanese, Filipino, Métis, Black, White, um obviously African, Caribbean. Like so I have an eclipse. That's why I say United Nations because I've actually had
Oh
the
dang.
blessing of being able to engage in different cultures. But I felt whenever I dated like white or those that pass as white, it was hard because their family, especially their white side, like mind you, disclaimer, my dad's
Mhm.
white. My dad's side is
Mhm.
white, amazing. But those people's white sides would be like, "Oh, my grandson is dating a colored girl," or "Oh, that means we're gonna have Olympic athletes as grandchildren because she's
Oh lord, no.
so."
No, no,
All
no.
these like
No.
these little things would be said, like, and they think that it was meant to be a good compliment when really it isn't. So
Those are microaggressions.
yeah,
For the people at the back, those are
microaggressions.
microaggressions.
So essentially, at that point, I was like, do I want to raise my children with a white significant other or white passing? Like, do I want them to go through this? Because we have very different ideas of how children should be brought up, right? Like, because you're
Mhm.
supposed to talk about finances, about religion, and all that stuff, and structure of raising. And I just felt,
Mhm.
I think finally in my late 20s, I was like, no, I want to stick to black, whether it's like Caribbean or African or Black Canadian or Black American or Black European, whatever, Black. I was like, I'd rather stick
Mhm.
to that. And of course, obviously, you say to God, hello, I'm open to whatever you say, because obviously I've been dating an eclecticness of men. But it's
Mhm.
just from my personal experience, I think it'd just be easier to go with that similarity. And so it's been interesting because in uni, I got my first boyfriend actually like senior year of high school. And then we
Mhm.
broke up because he went to U of C, I went to U of A. And so that was whatever. And then at U of
Mhm.
A, I met who I dated for like 3 years of my undergrad. But then that
Mhm.
ended because he he spiraled. He was this white boy from northern Alberta and he spiraled. Like he used to be great grades in school, used to be a great volleyball player because we both played for the uni and everything like that. But then he spiraled out of control and started drinking and started playing World of Warcraft more. And then he started having an affair with a married woman on World of Warcraft. So then I ended up breaking up with him because I was like, I was over it. I was like, oh my God, I can't be doing this. And so I
Mhm.
broke up with him and then spent my final year of uni just going, having a ball. So,
Mhm.
but I was
Yeah.
never one that like to date multiples. I always was like, hey, you and I, let's have an arrangement and call it a win. Because that's just the way I was. I wasn't the
Yeah.
type of
Like just monogamous with it.
yeah, like we weren't in an exclusive relationship, but at the same time, I just didn't want to be hippity hoppiting in between my relationships, right? And so then
Mhm.
after that, I met through a former friend. We're no longer friends now. She ended up marrying this guy, and he had this cousin who's Métis, and he was really sweet at the time, who I thought. And I was like, okay, yeah, let my ass move to Winnipeg. I graduated university. Why not? Alberta's in a recession. Let me just scoot on over 2 provinces over and find a job and try to see where this goes. Ugh.
Wait. Did you move for the relationship?
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Mm.
Okay.
At my tender
Continue.
age of what? So it was 2010. So I was 24? No, 23, maybe 22.
Mm.
No, I would have been 22, I think. Anywho, early 20s. So,
Yeah.
hey, it's that time of life that you want to make those type of mistakes. So moved
Oh yeah.
on over there, and then that didn't work out. And instead of moving back home or even going back home to like moving back to Alberta or even going back home to Toronto, I decided, let me suck it up and brave through it. And I stayed in that godforsaken city for couple more years. Oh, my stubbornness is ridiculous. I wish somebody could
Mm.
just slap me and been like, go home. So then obviously I dated a couple of guys, like a couple guys after there, after him there and stuff like that. So I've also had the pleasure, I guess you could say, of dating professional athletes, successful actors, professional music
Mm.
artists, whether they're instrument or vocals or whatever. So I've had, like, when I say an eclectic dating pool. I've had an
Wow.
eclectic dating pool of
It's the emphasis for me.
talents.
It's like I've had an eclectic, an epileptic, a crazy ass dating pool.
No epileptic. Nothing against those that have it, but I did not say epileptic. That was Sarah.
I know, I'm sorry.
I was like, ooh. I'm like, well, let's rewind so she can actually use this soundbite and not get in trouble. So I
Yeah,
have dated.
appreciate it.
I got you, girl. So I have been blessed enough to date an eclectic group of men. So regardless of, with obviously high standing careers, so professional athletes, professional musicians, professional actors. So, and then obviously they come from diverse background and ethnic groups. So I've really have had the opportunity to truly sit and reminisce on the fact that, hey, what do I want going forward? And hence why my dating with a purpose now is pretty much, I guess you could say, boring. Like, so boring that people are creating nice rumors about who I'm dating. I'm like, so if I don't know this person you speak of, how did I possibly date them? Like, I guess there was a rumor that I dated a guy from Kenya, and I'm like, who? I don't know nobody from Kenya. Like, no offense to Kenya. Like, I don't know Kenyans. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and also like I've had some also bad dating experiences, have ended up in abusive relationships where they were mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive, and those were really hard. But I did find the strength to walk away from that, from those individuals. And
Mhm.
the best part, I think, was when one of them said to me that, oh, my mom says you're not strong enough to walk away, that I have to be the one to walk away. And I'm like, really? Bet.
Oh my
I was like,
god.
peace.
Wait. So they knew they were abusive,
No,
and their
they just had an
mother
ego. Like, they were very much like, you say, multi, like, was it what's it called? Multi person,
polar
not bipolar, but like
or multiple personality
there's that
disorder.
disorder one that's not so full on narcissist, but then there's that. But I truly believe that if
Hmm.
we were to send him to have a psychological assessment, he would have been a narcissist. But yeah, him, it was more like he didn't admit that he was the problem. He felt that everybody else is the problem, and that, you know,
Oh my
he's the
gosh.
baby and he gets to do whatever he wants, however he wants. And so when I did finally dump him, it was like a shock to him. And for me, it was,
Oh no.
yeah, pretty
What?
much. He's like, no, you'll be back. And he kept blowing up my phone and everything like that and stuff like that. And I'm like, the only thing I want for you is the money you owe me, my nigga. Like, that's it.
Oh my
Like, I don't want nothing else from you.
gosh.
You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
like, go find somebody else to 90 Day Fiance or whatever it is. I ain't in that game. So it's like,
Mhm.
I feel like the older you get, the more you're asked, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you still single? Because these are people speaking. You're beautiful, you're
Mhm.
intelligent, you got your career and stuff. I'm still single because there's nobody worth my time out there. And when I have
Yeah.
expressed interest in somebody that I thought was worth my time, they've gone and ran for the hills. And so,
Mm.
and I don't believe that age determines the type of partner you'll have, because I've met some younger men that are very mature for their age, but I just can't seem to connect with them on what we need to connect on, right? And I've met
Mhm.
some older men that are hot messes.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's really people's lived experiences that determines their maturity. Hence
Yeah.
why, like, I used to have, I think my dating experience is better now, because before, and that's probably why I got in those abusive situations with these African men, is essentially my mantra was, oh, if you're nice to me, I'll give you a chance.
Mm.
So it's not like I went for you because of your wallets, because a lot of them didn't have the wallets. Just
Mhm.
stuck to my professional athletes. Anyways, so a lot of them didn't have wallets. That was my bad. Like, silly girl. Next I'll be like, no, you stay in this dating pool, girl. Get your cash.
Yeah.
So like, they didn't have, or they were struggling to come up or whatever. And I'm like, oh, but you have vision. So let's build an empire together, is how my little self was talking myself into these relationships. But now at my beautiful tender age of almost 38, I'm just like, no, you know what? We ain't about that life anymore. I need to see what you're
Mm.
bringing to the table, because back home, my CV, my resume would have the dowry like
Mhm.
amplified. Your,
Oh,
your four
yes.
generations down would still be paying for my dowry. So, like, what are you bringing to the table? Like, it's not so
Yeah.
much like, if you love me, you would. No, it's like, what are you bringing to this table? Because now I'm looking at it more as a partnership, and I'm very clear in my communication. I'm like, hey, I'm dating with a purpose. I want a partner that I'm looking for, a partner that I can spend my life with and I can have a family with.
Mhm.
If this isn't you,
Yeah.
then bounce, because this little revel and tussle and having all this fun, no, go on your Tinders and your Bumbles and swipe however direction you like to swipe and do that.
Mhm.
Don't come bringing that nonsense to me, because I'm not interested. So I think that's how
Yeah.
my dating has evolved in the past decade, I guess you could say, is I went from like
Yeah.
just fun, free going, being like, you know what, if you sweet on me, I'll give you a chance. No, now it's
Mhm.
like, no, 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 let's keep an eye out for these red flags. Let's nip things in the butt, and let's just be smart about it, because life is literally going by even faster and faster the older you get.
The older you get, yeah, and like, I mean, a few things, girl. Shout out to you for having the strength to, walk away from abusive situations because, I mean, people don't really talk about the strength that
Oh
takes. It
man,
takes a lot of courage, and so shout out to you for that.
thank
And
you. And
here
you
you
still
are,
defend.
thriving.
And what I'm gonna say to you, if anybody finds themselves in an abusive situation and you found the strength to walk away, don't get don't beat up yourself because you're still defending that person. Like, my friends would be like, "Why are you defending him still and being kind about him? He was toxic, he was abusive." But people, your peers, need to understand that it's going to take some time. It took them
Hmm.
X amount of time to break you down, and it's going to take X
Hmm.
amount of time for you and your village to build you back up. So
Build you
you got
back
to
up,
have
yeah.
patience and grace. And so if you find a friend of yours is in that situation, don't say, "Oh, you be the last that I would expect this happen to." No, it's not like they show themselves right on day one. No, it's a slow
Yeah.
process. It's a slow pick away thing, like an ice pick to an ice glacier. Like, it's not just
Yeah.
going to disappear instantly, right? So that's very
Yeah.
important if you find yourself in an abusive relationship, or you find yourself with a friend that's in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, and thanks for highlighting that. Another really powerful thing you said, you mentioned or talked about is the evolution of kind of your perspective on dating. You said over like the last decade of like, oh, if this person is nice to me, I guess I'll give them a chance versus now you're like,
Mm-mm.
okay. If you're coming over here, we have to come with something tangible. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like that takes a lot of growth and like
yeah.
self-reflection and healing
Oh,
to even like
absolutely.
go from that point A to that point B, you
We're
know?
done falling in love with potential.
Oh, hallelujah, God.
Mm-mm.
Praise Jesus.
We're done with that. Potential what? Well, you can take your potential with a younger person that has the
Mhm.
time to sit around and accept your left and your rights and your curves and your knots. Like,
Yeah, I think I've always like cuz I believe that no matter what level you meet someone, you will always build from there. My thing is when, you as a woman are not on ground zero, level zero. You're not coming from nothing. You've built a certain life and standard for yourself. And then some men never, not generalizing here, but some men expect that like wherever they're at level 0 or levels below you, you should be willing to come back down to their level and build with
mm,
them from there. And that's where I have an issue is that find someone that's around the same level as you and build together then.
or that's
Because
ambitious enough.
yeah, cause I admire people who find their person in school because in school you're both like in school. You're both, going to classes, trying to build your life from there.
Some of them
And then
were.
you
Some of them
uh,
were.
well, we're not talking about those ones. We're talking about this set of people here that, you find your person in school and then together you start to kind of be like, okay, so what do you want out of life? What do you want out of life? And you start building your careers, building yourself up, you're kind of sort of on the same level, and you go from there, depending on, people's choices, life choices will determine who goes ahead or whatever, what that looks like. But for you as a person to be doing all this work on yourself, you're taking care of your mental health, you're growing, you're taking care of your physical health, your career is progressing, blah, 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 all these things, right? And then somebody's just like, yeah, well, I'm not there yet, but I have these goals. I'm ambitious, I'm this and that. I mean, some people that gamble with people like that, actually, it all works out. But for the most part, it doesn't. Because, like,
You have to have ambition backed with action. If you say you have a 5-year goal and you're not taking steps towards it, then do you have goals? Are you actually ambitious?
yeah.
And you said bring them back down to the level, like bringing you back down to their level. And the thing was that that happened to me. Like I was landing acting gigs and opportunities, and rather than my partner celebrating with me, he'd be like, "Oh, okay, go on, you superstar. Yeah, you're a big shot now." Like it was just those kind of undermining rather than celebrating my successes. Like, "Hey, babe, I just got asked to be a keynote speaker for the top 30 under 30. Like that's a pretty big deal. Yeah, okay, can I use your car? Like, I'll just drop you off and then, like, you know what I mean? So, just things like that, like, just
Hmm.
undermining your own success. So,
Oh my
it's not
gosh.
enough that they're not where they're supposed to be, but they also don't like the fact that you're continually to evolve and
Growing.
grow.
That just sucks because, like, s- some people put in so much effort to land someone like that they know is, sort of kind of out of their league, but they're
No, there's
they're
no
you know,
sort of
showing
this.
potential.
Correct yourself. Don't judge
Out
yourself.
of their league.
There we go. You don't need to
But,
placate people in this point here. We won't generalize,
yeah.
but we will give facts.
Okay, we will do that. But there are people who, they put in all the work to get this person. They woo them, they try to romance them, blah blah blah, to try to, get this person, that is out of their league in whatever way, financially, career wise, whatever, to, be in a relationship with them. But when that happens, when the person's like, okay, you know what, I feel like I see potential. It seems like you're working towards something. I feel like we can come together and build a life together. Then this person who did all this work to get you in the first place starts to get
And
jealous
insecure. Actually,
and
but
insecure.
the
The
thing is, do they
insecurity just
start
shows.
there? You got to ask yourself, do they start though? Or was it always there? Was the
Ooh.
insecurity of having a successful partner, they liked the idea of you and they got you, but now that they got you, they're like, oh man, this is a lot. Like, look at all the attention this person gets. Look
Yeah.
at how men and women speak highly of this person I'm dating. Look how they
Yeah.
want this person I'm dating. So it's like that insecurity is not something that just develops. That's something that would have been already rooted and started to fester from the moment they chose to pursue you because they wanted you to be a notch on their belt so that they could be, big man on campus.
Yeah, that's just crazy because the insecurity, like we're talking about here, just makes them want to, knock you down a few, bring you down somehow, undermine you, disrespect you, make it feel like, oh well, because you're doing all these things, you don't respect me anymore, or, just fabricate, um and, some, not gonna lie here, there's some women that are, when they start to do a few things and make a little money, it goes into their head, not gonna, you know uh remove from that. Those people exist. We're talking about here, all things being equal, if it's a good woman or a good man, but it they just start to look for ways to nitpick this person and pull them apart for the fun of it, just to feel like you're bigger, or at least you're on the same level, or maybe it's even to feel like, okay, fine, I'm finally deserving of this person now that they're down a few notches or a few, levels, and are more, I feel more comfortable relating with this person now, because I feel like I can look them in the eye, and, because you've knocked them down in one way,
Mhm.
shape or form, destroying people's confidence, destroying people's careers, manipulating, when someone's trying to, grow and do better for themselves, and just making it about you in a weird way. Like, I don't get it, but here we are.
It's
And
not for
you.
us to understand. But I will say that part of it, I will blame the aunties and the mothers and the grandmothers because now with our generation, it's no longer, oh, we want you to go off and get married. No, we want you to go and get an education. And then the moment
Hmm.
we are educated and we get that degree, okay, now we want you to get married. Oh, what about so and so? But you always said that was my cousin or my brother growing up. How all of a sudden you want me to switch from that lens to an intimate partner? And then you get to a
Yeah.
certain point where they're like, okay, so when I hit 35, it was like, you know what, Kiki? Because that's my name in my family. You know, it's okay. You don't need to be married. Like, just have a baby. Like, so it goes from like, you're not allowed to date, focus on education. Oh, let's try to
Hmm.
marry one of the boys that we kept around you as a family member, exclamation mark, but they weren't even blood related, but it's embedded in your brain to, you know what,
Yep.
we good with this, like a baby. And then it's
Hmm.
like, they didn't raise these boys though to now match our energy. They still raise their
Yeah.
sons and their grandsons to expect a village girl, an uneducated girl, a girl that doesn't talk back. But that's not what they raised us daughters to be. So
Yeah.
when I have the aunties coming at me at like our traditional weddings or whatever, bridal showers for my friends, I'm like, it's your fault. And because it's like, oh, well, why didn't you stay with so and so? And I'm like, because he was abusive, and I'm not part of your generation where you guys decide to just stay in a relationship. I will not. If he's
Hmm.
abusive outside of the marriage, I'm not about to lock myself in with this person.
In because it would only get worse. It would only get worse. And you have another layer of being an actor. So like acting has its own peculiar kind of
Ah! I was waiting. I'm like, when is this girl going to talk to me?
Oh,
Oh,
here it is. Here it is
oh Lord.
because
Oh, hi,
as an
cute girl.
actor,
Look at me. I'm sitting up now. Actually, no,
yeah.
you won't see me because I am not camera ready. But in this moment, I
Yo,
reminded myself of my grandma there for a second, just here, the appearance. But yes,
uh but girl, you're acting in the African family, not to, drop any spoilers. You have a husband and y'all do husbandly and wifely things together.
okay, whoa.
You know?
Excuse me, caveat. It's all an illusion for certain things. It's an illusion. We don't go the
Yeah, it's I mean,
we don't
it's
we
a
don't
film
yeah,
set. This is not
we don't
real,
like
but
consummate.
not the clapping.
We don't consummate.
But there's some moments of intimacy there, and that's kind of part of your career as an actor. In as much as you play a lawyer, you play a doctor, you play a mother, you play all these amazing roles, you sometimes would play a girlfriend or a wife, and
Yep.
you're required by the script, by the play, by the director, and all those people, to do what lovers do, in a few of these scenes. And again, it's acting, so it's never ever real. This is not porn, it's never ever real. But
Why did you bring porn into this?
no, I'm just trying to I want to be clear, because some people feel like every sex scene on TV is real. That is not true. It is acting. There are 1,000 people in that room with the camera, so it's awkward as
Wait.
heck.
There's not. So caveat
But there are a few people.
caveat is
There's a
for
director.
intimate scenes, it's a closed set. So only essential crew members have to be a part. Whereas everything else that's being filmed in a show or a movie will have hundreds of people around. But for
Yeah.
intimate scenes like the ones y'all enjoyed in Bridgerton,
Hmm.
the y'all enjoyed in Secure, those were all
Yep.
closed sets.
Yeah, it's gonna be a closed set, but there are a couple people in that room with you. The director
Yeah.
is there, the sound person is there, the camera person is there. If there's a lighting grip that
Sometimes
has to be
sound isn't
managed,
even
that
there.
person is there, so as much as can be managed without the person there, they'll manage it without like the crew member there in a closed set. But if it's something that is moving, if the lighting scene needs to change midway, like, the person will be in the room, the director is in the room. If there's an intimacy coach, that person is also there with the director in the room. So you're not alone. You're never ever alone.
Mm-mm.
The camera is not just a spirit that appears when this is happening and you're alone. Like, that's not how it happens. So but how does that impact your dating? Like, have you ever had a situation where a partner is like, well, are you kissing? I can't have that. Like, have you ever had that,
Ah,
happen?
well, okay. So the person I was dating when we did our first two blocks of filming for the African family, because right now we're doing block three. Um, both me and my onset husband had relationships then, And so when I was dating the person that I was at the time, I was like, hey, there's going to be intimate scenes. I didn't go into details as to how in depth the scenes were because I could not risk him having a tantrum and pulling me out of my craft. Because I'm a method actor, so I'm very much like my onset husband. We dubbed him Honey Bunches in my phone, so he remains Honey Bunches in my phone. And so essentially, I didn't tell him the depths of it. I was like, yeah, there's some kissing here and there, but unbeknownst to him, there's some very more intimate scenes that I was going to express to him after we filmed it. But by the time we wrapped block two, we still had so much to do that I was like, well, no sense giving details because it's not airing anytime soon. Because right now, look at
Mm-hmm.
us, we're in 2023 and we're shooting block three, right? And so
Yeah.
I remember him specifically though when we stopped after block two, being like, "Oh, so are you going to delete his number now?" I'm like, "No, we're not done filming."
That's
I'm like,
that's my colleague.
why are you so insecure? Like, I get it because I've dated somebody in the industry that's very successful in acting, and I've seen him on screen and been like, hold up, that's what you do to me in the bedroom. But then again, that's what makes a good talented actor is they're pulling from their own lived experience. So many times I had to be like, okay, it's okay. He's not having an affair. This isn't no Brad and Angelina Jolie. Because that's the thing about our generation. We all think of Brad and Angelina and Jennifer Aniston because that was the biggest, most publicized adulterous Hollywood scandal that happened due to a set relationship, right? For our generation.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's more that came after and more that came out before, but that's poignant for us in the millennial realm, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm always stating I am an actor. This is the career I'm actually transitioning. I will transition into fully in the next few years. And if you're not comfortable with the fact that I will have scenes where I will have to be intimate with a on-set or on-scene partner, then maybe I am not the one for you because I'm able
Mm-hmm.
to differentiate life and set life. It's a very two different
Mm-hmm.
things. But obviously, too, you have to rehearse with your partner. You
Mm-hmm.
have to build chemistry with your partner. So if you're
Yep.
seeing texts between me and my onset husband and we're like talking explicit and da da da, know that that's part of there. Now, if you see that kind of conversation with another man, then you have every right to be insecure and upset and feel disrespected. But in the realm is that we can't expect to have on-screen chemistry if we're not building it off screen.
Yeah.
And it's a common thing, like so many, if you speak to successful actors, like directors and producers will be like, okay, so we casted you, you've got 2 weeks, you guys go spend some one-on-one time to start building your chemistry because we start shooting in 2 weeks or we start shooting in a month. Like,
Yeah.
it's something you have to pick up quickly. And as a woman, how are you supposed to be intimate with a on-set partner if you don't have that emotional connection? So that emotional connection
Yep.
gets built through discussion. So
Yeah. And I know of like directors that have paid for dates with like, their, co-stars or the husband and wife or whatever, the lead
where
characters
the
that have to be
heck is
intimate or
Simba
commit.
Creatives?
I'm telling you the truth. Like I've heard of like directors or producers who are like, you know what? Just go eat together, have coffee, whatever. Bring the receipt. We'll take care of it. But you need to spend time together, and if that needs to be, if and we can cover that. As actors, of course, you have your time for research and you have your time to kind of study the script and maybe rehearse um offset and all that stuff with your scene partner, but sometimes like it's encouraged by the director, by the just to build that chemistry, because if a couple is awkward, you will see
Oh, there's no
it.
faking intimacy on screen.
Oh my gosh, you will see
Dude.
it, you will notice it, you will be like,
Let me just
what am I
spell it
looking
out.
at?
There's no awkwardness with my unsaid husband. We when we watched the first 2 blocks of filming, we're like, because I was like, okay, we're picking up 3 years later. This isn't a new production. We're not able to say you take what we give you in this situation
Yep.
because you're gonna insert these scenes. So let us have a look.
Hmm.
My onset husband was like, did we use tongue? I'm like, yeah, we use tongue. He's like, no, I don't think we use tongue. And I'm like, watch the screen. So we watch and he's like, we use tongue. I'm like, yes, we did. Because we weren't just like birds pecking at each other because we had to
Right.
bring it like, and then we ended up watching it. We're both like, oh my God. Like, we're like,
Y'all went in.
we went in, but it's like at the same time, you're just like, we're going to anticipate some questions being like, are you sure y'all weren't messing around or y'all weren't doing X, Y, and Z? It's like, yeah, we're positive. We
Hmm.
were in relationships. and neither one of
Yeah.
us was disrespecting our partners. Like we were very clear about it. I don't know how he went about with his, but
Mhm.
she was aware of the situation, and then mine was aware to a certain extent because again,
Mhm.
sometimes you can't delve into details until you need to. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know that, like, because I'm not acting is not my main hustle. I can act here and there, if I need to. I can step up a little bit as a background or whatever. But
You don't want to be my
um
unsaid husband's side chick? I'm just kidding.
I mean, I can play that role. I mean, I can play that role. I'm single, so I can do the intimate scenes if you want me to.
Oh, that's
No.
my unsaid husband. You best believe I am possessive. The only person that can do anything with my unsaid husband is his significant other. Anything outside of that, no. I will sabotage you on set, on off.
But I've asked a few people that when you're dating first, second day, whatever, and you just ask like, well, what if I get a role and they're paying me this amount of money, and I have to, like, make out with this person or kiss this person or whatever, there's a bedroom scene or whatever, are you okay with that? And the answer I've gotten most of the time is no. I will not be. I'm jealous and I already know that about myself, so I probably will not be okay with my girlfriend or someone that I'm with seriously doing stuff like that. So do you have those conversations with, like, people that you talk to,
If
or
I'm talking to you, I don't care. Like, like
oh,
unless we're person,
like before you get in a
I'm being
relationship, right?
real. Like, like if I don't see a potential for anything with you, I'm not bringing up this because there's no sense discussing something that's
Mm,
never going to be a bridge for you to cross. Um,
okay.
but if I am anticipating that a relationship is going to go further, or I would like it to go further, I do have that
Mhm.
discussion of, are you comfortable with this? Because just know I'm not going to decline opportunities. Like, this is
Mhm.
my career. So you met
Mhm.
me. I was doing this before I met you, and I will keep doing this if anything should happen after I know you.
Mhm.
So it's very clear. Like, it's just don't play with my bag. I'm in my purpose.
Period, 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 do not.
Now, like I've stepped into my purpose. I've have zero conviction from God that I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm actually genuinely happy and joyous, and stressful days on set don't even feel like stressful days to me. Like I
Mm.
work through the pain, I work through the everything. So you think your insecurity is going to stop me? No. Like
No.
you better
Yeah.
if you're engaging in a relationship with me, then you should trust me well enough that there's nothing going on with if any opportunity should come up that has intimacy involved.
Well, that makes all the sense, because I was doing this before you. I'd probably be okay if you're not okay with this. And I think then the onus is on them to kind of be upfront and honest, because some people are like, yeah, I'm fine with it, but the reality is they are not.
And they can be
You
uncomfortable
know,
with it. I'm not here to say that I'm going to dismiss somebody's feeling.
discomfort. Yeah.
I will acknowledge it, but it's not for me to have to help you work through it. Because, like I said, I saw my person I was dating on the TV, and I was like, oh Lord, but I had to work through it
Hmm.
myself. Like I had to understand, like, listen, what I'm seeing is just one on one, but there's literally six people in your immediate vicinity spritzing them with
Yep.
water and
Yeah.
make up touches and like telling them put leg here, put hand here, cup here, grab here. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
still me knowing all of that context, I still felt a little ping of like, that looks real because that's exactly what he does to me, but that was for
Yeah.
me to work through, and him and I had that understanding and I respected his art. But it's like at the end of the day, I also believe that God is not going to bring a man into my life that's going to pull me out of the purpose that he actually had me finally discover. It took me
Yeah.
15 years to get here, but I'm here. Like we're not
Yeah.
about to send you a life partner that's going to be like, yeah, now go back and be
Mm.
miserable and try to figure out what you want to do. No.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, two more questions before we have to round up. Have
Almost,
you had any
Lester. One more question.
experience?
One more. One more.
One more,
One
one
more.
more.
One more.
One more shot. One more take, and then it takes forever.
Last one. Last one.
The last one. Have you had any experience with fetishization with people just wanting to date a black girl or date a person of color
Absolutely.
as a
We're
fetish.
in Alberta. Hello, jungle fever is predominant in this place, and it's actually sometimes runs as an undercurrent to the bigots. So it's there.
Ooh, okay. What is jungle fever? I've never heard
So
that
jungle
term
fever is the
in this
obsession, is
context.
that fetishism of black women. It's jungle fever, and Asian women, it's called yellow fever. So at least for my generations and older, that was some like a coin term that was used. I don't know what the Gen Z are used now, if they even acknowledge that because they're so anti labels. But um, but I've encountered many with their jungle fever, their obsession of like, I'll date a white girl, but I'll marry a white girl, but let me get this like jungle taste before I go. Let me have a little bit of the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Like all
Mm.
those like crazy little innuendos like that happen. Yeah, I've been there, I've done that, and I've looked at them and said, no, I'm not the one.
But like, how do you even know that this person has a fetish for black? Like, how do you
Honestly, it's because
know?
you start to see their dating history. Like, if it's not a long term with black women and it's just like quick in and out, and then a lot of time it's word of mouth. Like, watch out for him. He's
Hmm.
just trying to fulfill a fantasy, And it's just like, and you know what? It's just the opposite of like with some black men. I've had some of my closest guy friends that are black say, "Yeah, I'll f around with a white chick, but I ain't marrying her. I'm settling down with a black chick."
Mm.
So it's the opposite for the white man or even the brown man. Because, for some reason, there's conflict between browns and black people, which I'll never understand. I'll never understand all
Hmm.
these conflicts. But without going into those political layers, it's
Yeah.
just there's some where they don't even look at you as a human being. They just look at you as like an object to attain and to experience and then move from,
Mm.
right? So I haven't experienced it a lot lately, but I think it's because I'm older and I could pick those things up real quick.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't be able to sit here and be like, oh, here's a guide to avoid jungle fever men. Like,
5 steps to know that
right?
this is
You,
jungle
you
fever.
won't find me on TikTok. Watch out. Now TikTok is just going to go off. Like, this is how you know you dating a man who's got jungle fever. But there's certain things like you should trust your instinct because they're obsessed with the
Mhm.
idea of your culture and your essence versus who you really are. The thing is, like I said, it's word of mouth. So I grew
Yeah.
up with a lot of men as my close to the guy friends. So it was easy to be like, yo, Kita, watch out for him. He just wants to experience a black
Mm.
chick.
Shout out to real ones
Yeah,
like that,
like
though.
literally that was
Yeah.
that was in uni whenever I was single and I'd have somebody approach. Like I remember there was this one guy, I didn't know he was engaged, and he came to me in a nightclub and my friends were like, no, watch out. He's just trying to land a black chick before he gets married. So that's in like, you know what I mean? So
Oh.
if you got good homies, they will watch out for you like your back.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, no. So I've never had to experience that fetishization. Got it this time. Nailed it. But I've never had to experience that because I just have not dated outside of a black person, of black people.
Mhm.
It's, I mean, black people have their own baggage and stuff
Everybody has
now,
their
right?
own baggage. I hate when
But
people say
you
white
know,
people ain't got no baggage. I'm like, what earth do you live in?
oh, no, 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 no. Baggage is not, it does not discriminate.
Toxicity don't care about ethnicity.
Yeah, baggage does not care about what you look like, your height, shape, weight, race, nothing, It will give you one and an extra if you would let it. Um, but you will get a carry-on, personal luggage, you will get 2 checked-in bags to trauma, like, you will have baggage on baggage.
Drama,
Like
Jesus.
but you know what I mean. I just have not, been in that, so I got very curious. Like, I've heard, oh my gosh, I've heard all sorts of dating stories of that, that idea of people looking at others as a fetish, where this colleague of mine, will not name names right now, but I just was sharing my dating experience on dating apps, and this person calls Hinge, the dating app, unhinged, just because there are unhinged people there, unhinged folks on that app. But she was saying that this person that she matched with, the first thing the first message this person sent to her is, "Hey, chow mein."
Sounds about Alberta.
She's
I
Filipino.
figured as much. Hello. They're not gonna say chow mein to a black person.
No, this is a non-black person.
We're saying chow mein is not for a black person. That's like you usually get
Yeah.
hey ebony. That's what you get from the them. They call it. They'll go hey ebony.
Hey, Ebony,
One
Lord
little
God.
vanilla in no.
Like the audacity though, like it's just occurred for me of like, oh, food, like what is this? I'm not even Chinese. I'm Filipino. Like, what are you talking about?
Another common thing is they also, you know how your friend said unhinged or whatever. There's instances where I've had friends, male friends, where white couples have approached them. Actually, I've even been approached by white couples asking us to be part of their like menage a trois because they want to experience like that exoticness. Yeah, like
Hmm.
where it's like there's a class like there's a heavy culture of swingers in Calgary, but there's also a heavy
Mm,
culture of I forgot what the term is, but it's when the couple wants that third party to join. But often it'll be the Caucasian couples will seek out a black male or female to join to live out that fantasy. Yeah.
fantasy. Oh my lord. Okay. On to a different topic entirely because I feel like this one is just we could go on and on. Um Deal breakers.
Broke ass niggas. Do not apply. We are done being a sugar mama. Mm-mm.
Oh my goodness.
I have
She said broke
a broke ass niggas. I'm
broke
allergic.
ass
I'm
niggas.
done.
Allergic.
I have learned from my past. I have
Mm.
retired the sugar mama cloak. Locked
Mm.
away. Actually, she's burnt up in a fire. So that is
Oof.
all done. I am a loving and giving person. You ask my friends and family. I'm an intentional giver. Like I will thoroughly think ahead of time of what to give you for your birthday, for Christmas, anything to make you smile. I will find out in your love language as well as something that you may not realize that you mentioned that you needed, but I will fulfill. So I am a
Mhm.
nurturer and it's been exploited in so many different ways in the past that I am done. I want him to have a financial stability is not heard of because you can come into a relationship a millionaire and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
the stocks crash and the economy
Yeah.
and we're back in 2009 and which we have not even recovered from. So don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, I know that can happen up and down, but I need somebody to come to the table with the ability to pay his own bills, not
Mhm.
expect me to pay for his bills,
That is like bare minimum.
like
Jesus.
tuitions, like rent, like can't have a like don't have a car. Well, you better find a mode of transportation because my car is no longer available. Like you know what I mean? So I'm speaking from experience where
Mm.
somebody exploited my generosity to the extreme that now I'm just like I'm gonna wait for my husband to really go all out. No more getting sweets in the mountains with champagne and a bunch of gifts, no more of that. Like
Wow.
no.
That person gave you a carry-on baggage.
Look at this girl will be hashtagging. So yeah, so,
Lord.
so my
But it's like, but I mean, sorry to cut you short just for a second. Relationships are one of the easiest way to pick up baggage. You're like, I never had this issue before, and now I'm out of this relationship, and now the world is kind of all off kilter in this way, you know. And it's just unfortunate, but relationships. One of the quickest way to get trauma, to get baggage, is literally through relationships.
oh
So,
yeah,
like,
any types of relationship because it could be the relationship between parent child. It could be the
oh
relationship
yeah,
between siblings because it's
mm-hmm.
those that cause you trauma are the ones that are in your inner circle. It's not the strangers
That's true.
that are sitting across from you in the office. No, it's not them. It's the people you
Yeah,
let in that you trust that are the ones that can cause the baggage and the hurt. So yeah, so
yeah.
my hard nose are like, yeah, broke ass niggas, no. Family abroad, no.
Wait, what do you mean by family abroad?
Well, you got a whole ass wife and child back
Oh, like wait, like a whole
your
family.
whole family abroad. I don't need to be.
I thought you were talking about someone's mother or brother.
Mm, mm-mm. No, I'm sorry. Like, there's plenty of women that are into that polygamy stuff and that can help you with your K9 visa in the US and your 90 whatever visa here in Canada. Super. I am not the one. No. So if you want a quick no. You focus with
Mhm.
that family, and if your wife is okay with it, great. But I'm still not the one, so we don't do that.
Yeah.
Another one is I do not tolerate cheating. Because
Mhm.
in my perspective, and what I hate now is people are like, well, Nikita, it's the day and age that we're in. No, it's
Yeah.
not. Because at the end of the day, really, if you no longer are attracted to your partner and all of that is fizzling out, like the mental connection is leaving, the emotional, the spiritual, the physical, then why are you still together?
Yeah.
Be honest. It's going to hurt to cut them in that moment, but guess what? It'll hurt even 10 times
Even
more
worse.
when you continue to keep them there and you do your bêtises, in French, English, and you do your nonsense on the side. And then
Mhm.
who knows what STIs you bring into the relationship.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate that a lot of I hate to say this, man, but a lot of African men, West African men, dare I say Nigerian men, are are expecting like women to be okay with the cheating, and you hear them say, "Oh, I'm just looking for someone to give me peace," but you're bringing
Yeah.
chaos.
Eh. Like I don't want peace. You don't think I want peace? I got females messaging me in my DMs. I got females calling me. I got females flying in for you and telling like
Oh,
no.
Jesus
So like that's what
Lord.
I said. I'm like no. If you want
What
an
is
open
peace?
relationship,
Is peace me being quiet while you try to destroy my life? And you know what I like? Is peace me, the woman, being quiet and accepting your
oh, that's
craziness?
peace.
Because then that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's no.
No.
That's a no.
So yeah, that's my hard nose, man. Broke ass niggas, family abroad, and adultery. Cause I'm like, in my mind, we should be grown enough now at our age. Like
Our
all
big
we've done
age,
as
yeah.
millennials is having to be knocked down and get ourselves back up just in time to get knocked down again by the
Again,
BS
yeah.
that we've had to endure as a generation internationally with the
Yep.
with the with the OPAC agreement, with the plague, with the everything. Like we've literally
Hmm.
9/11. That's when 9/11 started our bullshit for us. So like,
Yeah,
like
the economy, housing market, job market, it's crazy out here.
the last thing I need is for my partner to be breaking somebody else's back rather than mine. And if they if they ain't satisfied with my kitty, then they might as well just move on to the next. Because I know
Yeah.
plenty of men in the wings that are waiting to be the one.
Hmm.
So you know what I mean? And it's all about communication. Like if you can't,
Yeah.
I know not everybody's a perfect communicator. I know that you have to figure out what the ins and outs and the flow is between you and your partner. But
Hmm.
if you are starting to have doubts, set me free. If I'm starting to have doubts, let me set you free. Why I want to keep you? I don't want to keep you. And I don't want
Mm.
whatever bullshit, whoever's sucking your dick, and all of a sudden you bringing that STI at home. No.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that at all. Oh my goodness. For me, I feel like yes, I mean loyalty is important. There's no cheating allowed. I will not do it. I don't expect it back. And if we're in an open relationship, let's then be in an open relationship, of which I am not a subscriber. So I will click
I will
unsubscribe from the
Sarah's
relationship.
gonna
You
open the
know?
door and see her way out and then
I will exit stage left. It does not matter how deep those feelings are. I will always choose myself first. And I think that's what, people need to do more of.
Mhm.
It's like you can love someone, but the moment that you start to love someone in place of yourself, where you start to neglect yourself
And
because you're loving someone,
lose yourself into
that
the
is
person.
that's a big problem. You need to
Mhm.
kind of take a closer look at that. So for me, yes, I mean, I will not cheating is not condoned. Um Personally, I don't want a person that has a kid because I mean,
Oh,
I just
sweetie.
cannot.
I can't
I
wait until
can't.
you're my age. Because the older you get and you're single, the chances of you being a stepmommy is really high.
It's really high,
Like
isn't it? Yeah,
you
but
you literally, Sarah, I'm not kidding with you. Like you'll reach a point in your age where you'll notice because of the dating pool if you're still single, where you're literally gonna have to come to Jesus moment and be like, Lord, give me like I literally say, I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with kids. I just don't want multiple baby mamas. I just want one. One baby mama drama
mhm,
and hopefully she's not
mhm,
dramatic. But that's literally what my prayer went from. It went from, nah, I don't want no kids, to, you know what? It is what it is. I'm almost 38 and I'm dating men that are in their 40s. There's a
mhm.
slimmer percentage that they have not gotten a child in their
Had
20s
kids.
or in their 30s. You know what I mean? At that point, like,
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, that's completely fair. For me, I'm hoping
you just asked God to get
I,
you locked down before you entered that pool.
I'm I'm hoping that I get sorted out before then. But I mean, as of
All of a sudden you
now,
get sorted out, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's your long lost son. But your ass is already locked in. But your ass already locked
God forbid, I serve a living God. Please, I serve a God that does not fail. Are you telling me that after I now enter inside marriage is when the man's long lost child will locate him? Ah, it's a lie. That is an attack from the enemy. I rebuke it. I cancel it. I destroy it in the name of Jesus. My mom will join me in speaking in tongues. This will not happen. The blood of Jesus. This is nothing. It's nothing but an arrow. It's a demonic force.
like,
There's no. It's a
oh,
prank.
hey, stepmom, what up? What it do? Oh, what it is, ho? What's up? No.
Oh my god. I mean, that is a real one though. That's very real because that happens. That happens in real life. So then you have to pivot from a life that you
How you gonna
foresaw for
pivot?
yourself.
You can't be divorcing.
You can't be telling me what to do. You can't be telling me what to do. I don't know what I'll
It's
do.
not like your husband intentionally hid it from you. He didn't know. Y'all found out at the same time.
Gee. What's happened to condoms in this life? What's
Raw
happened to
deal.
projection
The raw
protection?
deal. It's the raw deal.
Oh my god. That is literally a nightmare. For me, that's one of my fears. You just literally activated a new fear. Because I don't think I'd ever really thought about something like that before. Now I'm like, oh shit.
Damn this
If
girl.
it's
Why did I ask her about these questions?
in the name of Jesus, that is not my
Never
portion.
put the
In the mighty name of Jesus, that is not
I
my portion.
rebuke this.
Let me
Will
go.
not be my portion.
Let me go to mountain of fire and pray. Holy Ghost fire. Holy Ghost fire. Those that
Yo,
get it, get
yo,
it. Those
Sarah
that
gonna show up
understand.
in church this Sunday and be like, "Yeah, I got a prayer. You better pray
Yeah.
against. You better pray against my future husband having an unforeseen child after he's married."
Oh my gosh. Because I mean, you literally said you manifested dating a crush of yours from TV. So please be careful what you say.
Yeah, my aunt says that because I'm the one who
Please
found
be
my dad. I'm
careful.
the one who found my dad, and she's like, "Well, while you at it, you want to pray for a husband for me?" I was like, "I got you a husband, but you dumped him. You divorced him." But yeah, like I
Oh.
also brought into fruition my dad, so I'm
Oh
really
girl,
I got very
please, please
powerful
don't
son.
be speaking on my life like that. I'm begging you. Please. Those that understand how African mothers and African churches pray understand what I'm saying when I say I will go to the mountain of fire and pray fire prayers for the Lord to intervene. Any trailer of disappointment, let the Lord jam it. Every attack, every arrow of unwanted child, let the Lord return it to sender. In the name of Jesus.
What's a child?
Oh
Oh,
mom, because I never wanted I mean, oh gosh. All right. Let's move forward now because I mean that is one of my like deal breakers, especially like and dishonesty, man. I can't stand liars.
that
I
goes
can't
with
do it.
adultery because
I
it
just
goes hand
can't.
in hand. Because a liar,
I can't.
liars are liars. You
People
know
just
what though?
lie for no
You know what
reason.
drives me crazy? Is my past relationships, it was always like, you need to submit to me because I'm the man, right? Because remember, they're all like, they're African and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, give me
Oh my
something to submit
gosh.
to because all I see is a boy. Like,
I saw this quote and it made all the sense in the world. It's like I will paraphrase at this point and unfortunately I can't quote the person cuz you know how you're scrolling and you see this and you're like this makes sense and you keep scrolling. So I just kind of retain the essence of the quote. And this person wrote, it was a guy, wrote, people keep saying that black women are not submissive, but people don't like, but the truth is black women will not submit to someone who will lead them astray.
oh, I
So
thought,
if you're wondering why a person is not submissive, I mean, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, wait, wait, wait. do I am I as badass as as I think I am, or am I just in Delulu land? Am I delusional? You know, and really, if you would take
Is
accountability and look
that
at
a
yourself and
Nigerian
just be
thing?
like,
Delulu?
what do
Because
you
you're
mean?
the third Nigerian to say Delulu in the last week.
No, it's one of those. It's one of those slangs. It's one of those slangs on the internet.
I'm bold.
Delulu. Yep.
I'm Delulu.
No. No. But truly, like, you know, some people, like, you just need to take a look at the mirror. I feel like everybody should, because like self-reflection never hurt anybody. But you know, some people are just like, oh, why would they not, I'm the man, I should be obeyed, I should no, 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 take several seats,
No,
sir,
seriously.
because
And
that just
there's somebody that in my orbit right now that I am genuinely shocked that I submit to them. Like, I'm
mhm,
genuinely shocked, but it's because they're making my life easier. They're alleviating my
mhm,
stress through the guidance that they're giving me. And they're
yeah,
not taking away my struggle or taking away my stress. No, they're teaching and instilling tools in me to navigate myself through it so that at the end
yeah,
of it, I can say, I did that.
mm,
And that person, I'm like, I'm glad I can submit to that person. Even if they're not my
yeah,
partner, I have recognized, I'm like, this is what I need in a partner.
mm. And that's so good, because like some people like submission, it's made to be so complex, but I don't really think that it is. And I'm like, Heavenly Father God, this literally came from the Bible, show the people what you mean by this, you know, because everybody has an interpretation of what that looks like,
Mhm.
right? And I feel like the moment you have to like say I am this, you have to obey me, you've lost all authority.
All
Like you
authority.
have lost all authority, like
And they know
now
it too. They
go
know
and
it
sit.
too. In that moment, they know it. That's why they're saying what they're saying.
Yeah, and so like some, if you treat a person well, if they can see that
Mm.
all you're doing is trying to help them make their life better, make the
And
load
have good
easier,
intentions for them. Yeah.
if you have genuinely good intentions and you're actually showing it in a healthy way, like you wouldn't even have to ask for it. The person will be surprised that, damn, I want to cook you dinner. Why do I want to cook you dinner? You know what I mean? Like it just comes out of the woman. Like you don't
Yeah.
have any
You don't have to force
control
it.
over
Yeah.
it. You don't force it.
Because
You
trust me,
inspire it.
my ass is
You
tired.
inspire
I'm
it.
tired of being independent. I've been independent for
Oh
20
my
years.
goodness.
I'm tired. I'm
I'm
exhausted.
not
I
I
take
am
care
not a
of my
strong black
bills. I
woman.
deal with my, like, I'm grateful I get to take care of my little fur baby. She's a non negotiable, by the way. We come with package
Mhm.
deal, Kiki and I. Um,
Yeah.
but like, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I want a partner where I can share the load. I want
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah. And like that's a person being a good person or paying their own bills, for God's sake. That should be bare minimum. As adults, you take care of yourself, pay your bills, like pay for your living expenses, get a job, like, you know, that should be bare minimum. You should be able to treat people with kindness.
I'm
That's
tired.
just human
I'm tired.
human 101.
I'm
You
tired.
should like
I'm
it.
tired of human 101. I want I want trophy wife 101. I want
Uh-huh.
I want to just
There you
I
go.
want to just take a beat. I want to take a breath. There's a lot of people out there that don't know it. They haven't experienced it yet because they've just gotten out of their parents' house or they're still living in their parents' house and so
Yeah.
forth. And there's nothing against that. But there's those of us who have had to everything. Like, I'm even fed up of having to figure out which air purifier should I get? Which humidifier should I get? I don't want to make these decisions. I want to have a partner that can just take these decisions and be like, okay, babe, you're asthmatic. This is the best one for you. Because, no, I'm just tired. I'm tired.
Yeah, yeah, being the strong black woman is that, first of all, that's a myth, because nobody wants to be the trope of the strong black woman, because it's just a lie. Like black women have to be are strong because they have to be.
Mhm.
And you know, there's some people, some, you know, in safe relationships that are, you know, where a person is trying to make the load easier, you're just, people get surprised that by like, oh wait, I thought, you know, like by their own selves, they're like, wait, I but I want to take care of you, like because of the treatment that you get, because of how someone takes care of you, nurtures you, pours into you. It just comes out. You have no control over the fact that your voice is softer towards this person, your demeanor is different
You're
towards
more
this person,
feminine. Like, your
you're more
femininity gets to
feminine to.
actually come into full bloom because you're not expecting to pick up the load so much.
Exactly. I've heard, some gurus say this, and I think I agree because I think it's the man's place to like lead energy and lead in like the giving that is required in a relationship. It is the guy's place to lead in that, because then you create the space and the atmosphere for a woman to be like, oh, okay, it's safe here. I can drop, like, bring down my defenses a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can bring down my defenses a little more because this person has made the environment safe enough for me to be vulnerable, for me to be soft, for me to, there's room for error, there's room for growth, there's room for me to just be. With me, this person is very intentional and careful. This
Mm-hmm.
person pours into me and does this and does that, the things that I didn't even know that I need. And I'm so grateful to be receiving it. So now I'm turning into this person who is looking to cater to this man. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is, I think. I mean, I'm no guru, I'm no professional here, but like if a person takes care of you, all you want to do is take care of them back,
Yeah.
except for leeches and mooches and people who just want to take advantage of other people. But
No, absolutely. But also, it's important for whenever you're about to start a relationship is to also recognize that we all come with our own traumas and our own
yep.
experiences. So sometimes the projection onto you isn't necessarily by you, but it's by the trigger that you caused. And rather
Mm,
than shutting down, maybe like give the person, the partner who's having that trigger moment, give them a time to calm down and come back and be like, hey, what was that about? And then they'll be
yeah.
able to express to you clearly, like, actually, it's because of X, Y, and Z. Because, like, if you spoke to me back in 2020, 2021,
Mm,
I would have been, I was still in the healing mode from like the toxic relationships, the abusive relationships, right? And so
mm,
I was in no sense to be dating anybody. But yet, you're out there dating anyways because you're trying to forget people. But the thing is, it's
mm-hmm,
like I wasn't meant to be that. But now today, it's like, I have less of those defensive reactions. I have less of those like trigger moments, but they're still there
mm-hmm.
because you got to understand that it took, let's say it took somebody 2 years to abuse you. It could take 4 years for you to come out of it. You know,
I've heard that it's times
yeah,
two. I've
so
heard that
it's
it's,
it's like
yeah.
it's like presidency, right? It took Bush Jr. 4 years to destroy the shit, and then they expected Obama to fix it. So it's like, and he wasn't able to in 8 years because it was deeply rooted. So it's just the same thing with people. It's like, as long as your partner is actively willing to heal themselves and work through it and be vulnerable and honest with you of what they've been through, then you have the
Mm-hmm.
potential to be into something great because that means you've created an even safer space for them. So you got to
Yeah.
recognize that not all your significant others will come from like a well-rounded family with no trauma or have had
Yeah.
such a positive lilies and roses relationships in their adulthood. So like,
Yeah.
everybody has a degree of trauma that you have to be
Mm-hmm.
willing to either work through with them or just be polite about it and say I don't have the capacity, and then
Yeah. And that's really true because I used to, because it took a while for me to even start dating when I moved to Canada. And because I'm like, oh, I'm working on myself, I'm working on myself. But you can work on yourself all day. When you get in a relationship is when shit starts to show up and you're like, wait, what? I'm not perfect? What? You know, it can really take you by surprise now. But, I used to be in my head of like, ah, like perfection is a myth. I'm never going to be perfect. Does that mean that I don't deserve a good person? You know what I mean? And like, it's possible to work on yourself while in a relationship with a person because their perfection really and truly is a myth. You will never achieve it. You know what I mean? And it's about growth and intentionality and actually being self-aware and learning in the moment and figuring out those triggers like, this affected me this way, why? Trying to delve into that and find healing. Like, that's powerful.
Mhm.
Well, this has been a long conversation about what the dating scene has been in both of our experiences, and thank you so much, Nikita, for taking the time and sharing.
No, thank you for having me. Like I said, the moment you reached out to me, I said this was a priority in my books. Like obviously we had to delay quite a bit with just the stuff going on in my world, but I had it as a priority to make sure that I get to do this for you because I'm an avid supporters of my fellow sisters when it comes to their dreams and aspirations and what they're trying to create artistically, and
Hmm.
I have no issues co-signing those or being involved in that because I feel it's very important that we should be bringing each other up rather than tearing each other down. Like we just need to be
100%.
more unified as a Black community of women. And so
Truly.
any opportunity I have to edify, encourage, or empower a fellow Black female, I will do it. And if I don't have the means
Yeah.
to, then I will find somebody else that can do it in my place.
Oh, that's awesome. So before we leave, I just need you to drop a word of wisdom, a word of advice, something, an African proverb, just something that you stand by.
I stand by this. I stand by you cannot be whole without addressing the four quadrants of your life and making sure that they're the four pillars or the four spaces are well maintained, which is your mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and physical health. Those are the four
Mm.
things that you'll constant hear me say. Like if you focus on your physical, then the other three will suffer, right? So it's on you to figure out the harmony and to make sure that those four different quadrants of your life are maintained equally. Sometimes they'll be off balance, but you can't let it completely veer off track, because
Yeah.
if you don't take care of your physical, then your health will get impacted, which then will eventually impact your mental and emotional and spiritual health. If you don't take care of
Yeah.
your mental health, then all of a sudden you're not doing anything physical. You're giving up on your spiritual journey, and your emotional
Yeah.
is just a hot mess. So I really emphasize to people that it's really key that when you're in your healing process and you're growing and evolving, that you put a similar amount and find the harmony between your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, and your physical health. Like that's key.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. Thanks for that. So where can the people find you on the social mediums? Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me, but if I'm there, I don't know. Like
Oh Lord. Okay. Okay.
so my social media accounts are active, but I'm not very
Mm,
active on them right now because I just
okay.
preach the importance of finding harmony in those four quadrants. My health has been
Yep.
my priority for the last 2 years, since December 2021, which is pretty much when I took a stage left out of social media. But my accounts are
Mm,
there, and I will, after this next few months, I should be back. So,
okay.
but my accounts are active. Like Instagram, I am Nikita Kalonji. On Facebook, there's my actors page, Nikita Kalonji. LinkedIn, Nikita Kalonji. But I'm very specific on who I accept on LinkedIn, just because I do have a lot of executives and such in my network, and I do not want to expose them to unnecessary interactions.
Yep.
Twitter, Nikita Kalonji. Thanks to the African family, I had to change everything to my government name, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
like. And then on TikTok, Nikita Kalonji. So you'll find beautiful photos of, or nice little trip montages and videos of my little munchkin, Kiki Kalonji.
Oh, okay. The government name too. But again, thank you so much for being on this podcast, and thank you again. And we will see you on the next episode, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Afros in the Diaspora. I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and hopeful. To engage, feel free to like, follow, share, and subscribe to Afros in the Diaspora on all social media and podcast platforms. Remember to leave a review and a rating. If you would like to be a guest, please reach out. Send an email to hi@afrosinthediaspora.com. That is hi@afrosinthediaspora.com. Or send us a DM on Instagram at afrosinthediaspora. Remember, there is beauty in our stories and power in our voices. Together, we are stronger. Until next time.